Hey guys, Sebastian Guerra here, and welcome to Guerra Financial Tips. Today we're going to be talking about what happens with your Social Security check if you or your spouse were to pass away today. So about 2 weeks ago, I ended up having an emergency appointment with a lady who was referred to us by an existing client of our firm. She and her husband had been married for over 45 years, and he tragically passed away at only 68 years old. He was receiving $3,700 per month every single month, which is about $45,000 per year. And his wife, that was 65 years old, she was getting $2,500 a month, which is about $30,000 a year from Social Security. She reached out because she now had no idea what was going to happen with these checks now that her husband has passed away. So now that her husband's not around, what's going to happen with the Social Security system, and will that affect her? So now that her husband is not around, what's going to happen is that the Social Security system is going to grab her Social Security check from $2,500 and they're going to bump it up all the way up to $3,700. So this means that she's pretty much going to be getting an additional $1,200 on her Social Security check, which was the same amount that her husband was receiving before. But now, overall, instead of now them receiving $6,200 a month that they were receiving as a couple, now she's only going to be receiving $3,700 because her husband has just passed. Now, the reason this is so important is because as we're entering the stage of retirement, you have to start asking yourself the question, what if something were to happen to me or my spouse? Now, some people have prepared themselves so well that they have enough money in their investments to help them offset all of their bills on a monthly basis. But I've seen other families over the years that when they retire or somebody passes away, they now need to start exhausting a larger amount from their accounts every single month. And this can cause now that the funds run out much sooner because simply you now have to pull more from your investments just to be able to offset all of your expenses. I know that we all hope that we enter a stage in retirement with our partner that we live until our late 80s and maybe even our 90s, but we have to prepare for the worst. So just ask yourself the question, if you or your spouse were to pass away today, what are the financial consequences to your spouse in the long run? Will they run out of funds now faster because now they need to exhaust more money out of their accounts? Will they now need to move in with their kids or maybe ask their kids for financial support because they cannot afford to pay all of their bills? Will they need to maybe even sell their home or downsize their home or maybe rent out rooms in the property? We have to start thinking about potential consequences. If something like that were to happen between a husband and wife, what's the impact long term to that couple? So the most important thing is that in this planning process, you are factoring in potential risks just like these and the impact that this can bring to you and your loved ones. Now, as much as I don't like to talk about life insurance, a very simple solution that you can implement is you can just purchase a permanent life insurance policy on you and your spouse's life. Where if tomorrow one of you were to pass away, the remaining spouse would now receive maybe a couple $100,000, maybe even a couple $1 million, that can now help offset the amount of Social Security that you or your spouse were actually leaving, and then now that would end up helping the remaining spouse. Now, please make sure that this is something that you're going over with your advisory team to see if this is maybe even something that makes sense for you. There are some people that have enough assets that they don't even need to go and purchase a life insurance policy, but there are other people that need to consider strategies like these. That way, if something were to happen like this, you have a game plan so that the other remaining spouse isn't left in a scenario where they now need to exhaust their funds at a much faster speed. If you or a friend or family member is going through something like this, just feel free to reach out. We are always here to help. Take care.